Does sticking the word Pro after a product name mean that it's absolutely guaranteed to be better than the non-Pro version of the same product? This is the glorious Model O Pro wireless. Let's find out how pro it is. Hey guys, I'm Matt and welcome to Kit Guru, and we're back looking at another lightweight gaming mouse. This time around it's the turn of the Model O Pro Wireless from Glorious. This mouse was released as part of the Glorious Forge program, and to grab one from Glorious themselves you had to be part of that group buy back when they first launched. If you want to pick one up now though, you'll have to go to a third-party vendor. Overclockers sent this one over to us for review, and they do currently have them in stock, and they're priced at £99.95p. The mouse differs from the original Model O wireless in a few key areas. There's no honeycomb design this time, and it's also 14 grams lighter on paper. It ditches the RGB found on the non-Pro model, which in turn leads to longer advertised battery life. So from the initial impressions from me reading the specs, this does feel and look and read like a more pro model. And I'm certainly not a pro gamer, but I'm still going to put this thing through its paces. The packaging for the Model O Pro Wireless is pretty decent. The box is quite thick and feels very sturdy. It's covered in a pattern that reminds me of the game Life is Strange, but more designed for a peripheral nerd like myself. Opening the box up, the mouse is sitting on top of a plastic insert. Glorious, change this insert to be cardboard, please. Sitting just below the mouse is the USB dongle and the Type-C to Type-A adapter, which attaches to the end of the included 2-meter paracord charging cable, which can then be used for positioning that dongle a little bit closer to the mouse, and then makes it really convenient for plugging it in when you need to charge the battery. There are a few stickers in the box along with everything else, with the Glorious Forge logo and branding on them, along with some forbidden crystals and a quick start guide. The Model O Pro Wireless is available in 3 different colours. I've got the Blue Lynx version here in front of me, but you can also get Golden Panda, or in English Yellow, and Red Fox, which surprisingly is red. The colour on the Blue Lynx model is very pastel-y. It's not mega bright and tacky, and it looks quite nice in my opinion. The contrast between the blue and white on the top and bottom sections of the mouse really give it a clean look overall. The shape is exactly the same as the original Model O Wireless. It's got a symmetrical design that will work well for left-handed gamers as well as right-handed gamers, and while I prefer a more contoured and strictly right-handed design, I can't say that this mouse feels bad. It's just that I prefer the feel of a right-hand only mouse a little bit more. That's just a personal preference thing. The mouse wheel and DPI switch button are both white, helping them to stand out against that pastel blue. The only branding to be found on the mouse comes in the shape of some small Glorious printing on the back left side and a Glorious Forge logo on the front right. It's very small, very subtle and very well done in my opinion. It doesn't get in the way of letting the design of the Model O Pro Wireless speak for itself. Overall, I really like the looks of this mouse. It's simple, clean, and it just feels like it hasn't been over-designed and it isn't too gamery. The shape is okay. I use a palm grip and it fits my hand quite well, but it will suit other grips as well without any major problems. Now the weight, or the lack of the weight on this mouse is really impressive. It's advertised at weighing just 55 grams, and when I stuck it on the scales it read 56 grams. I can forgive that 1 gram discrepancy, as that could be my scales fault. But even with that being said, this mouse is insanely lightweight, yet it still manages to be solid bodied and have enough bulk to it to be comfortable when you hold it. The feet are made from 100% PTFE and they are rounded, giving it a nice glide on the mouse pad. They are a tiny bit scratchy though. I've recently switched over to using a Cordura mouse pad, which will definitely be a contributing factor, but compared to the DefAdder V3 Pro, they definitely sound a bit rougher. The build quality on the Model O Pro wireless is okay. One criticism that I've got is that it does have a bit of flex when squeezing the body. You can definitely tell that Glorious have thinned things out on the inside to cut down on the weight. The left and right click buttons feel very solid, and there isn't very much pre-travel between clicking the buttons down and then them connecting with the actual switches inside of the mouse. The mouse wheel has 24 steps, which are well defined and sturdy when you scroll. The mouse wheel click though is a little bit too sensitive in my opinion. It's easy to accidentally click it when you're scrolling quite fast. And as with most mice, the side buttons are a little bit underwhelming. Although Glorious advertised that they've been redesigned since the original Model O wireless, they still feel a little bit mushy, as does the DPI selector button sitting just behind that mouse wheel. The Model O Pro wireless uses Glorious's own BAMF optical sensor, which they made in collaboration with Pixart, and it's exactly the same sensor as you'll find in the original non-Pro model. It's capable of up to 19,000 dpi, has 400 IPS tracking speed and a 1000 Hz polling rate. The mouse feels very, very good in my opinion. The ultra lightweight build coupled with this sensor give it a weird feeling of really being connected to the input controls when you're gaming. It's hard to explain, but it just feels very fast, very fluid, and just overall really great. The switches are also Glorious's own, and they're rated for up to 80 million clicks. That's mental. How many headshots do you reckon you could get out of 80 million clicks? Put it in the comments down below. Someone work out their accuracy rating. How many heads are you clicking in 80 million attempts? Here's a quick sound test of the mouse so you can listen to what this thing sounds like. I've gamed quite a lot with this mouse since starting to test it out. I've played Battlefield 2042 like usual. I just can't get enough of this game at the minute. And for shooters like this, the Model O Pro has performed great. Quickly reacting to stuff and flicking the mouse around the mouse pad feels good. It just feels smooth. I've also played a fair bit of Diablo 3 as it entered its final season before Diablo 4 drops later on this year. And this has involved a lot of constantly holding down the left click button while my barbarian whirlwinds all over the shop. And the mouse has performed okay in this situation, but it can become a little bit tiring after a while. I definitely feel that the mouse is much more tuned to being used in FPS games like Battlefield and COD and whatever, which does make sense as it's so lightweight and fast. I think something a bit heavier would suit that Diablo style of gameplay a little bit better in my opinion. The battery life through all of that gaming has been really, really good. Glorious advertised the battery life for the Model O Pro as being 80 plus hours, and that's pretty much on the money, shockingly. I've charged it once in about 2 weeks worth of use, and I used it while it was on charge and it felt just as good as when I was using it wirelessly. The software used to customise the Model O Pro is called Glorious Core, and it can be downloaded from Glorious Gaming's website. And overall, I really like this Glorious software. It's simple to use, it looks great and it works well. I haven't experienced any bugs, any lag or any clunkiness at all. It just works and it does what you want it to do without any fuss. There are only two main tabs for the Model O Pro, key binding and performance. The key binding tab does what you would expect a key binding tab to do. You can remap any of the buttons to a multitude of different preset options, as well as having the ability to create macros and then assign those to the buttons too. You can save up to 3 profiles within the software, along with the ability to import and export them as you like. The Performance tab contains settings for selecting your DPI, changing the lift-off distance, and then changing the debounce time. Settings that are all going to add up and really help you get this mouse dialed in to suit your playstyle as close to perfect as you can get. So in conclusion, I feel like Glorious have done a great job on this mouse. It's shockingly lightweight, it's very, very lightweight mouse, and it's also solid bodied. Although I do feel like they sacrificed a little bit on the build quality to help bring that weight down as low as it is to that 55-56 gram mark. The battery life is very good and impressed me during my tests, and I think the price is pretty fair. It's much cheaper than some of the mice I've reviewed on the channel recently, but it performs just as well, In FPS games that is, it performs just as well as some of the more expensive competition. It's clear that this thing is aimed at FPS players, but it will work in other genres too. It's made for FPS games. I'd like to have seen a more ergonomic design used, but again, that's just my preference, and some of you might like this design style more. If you like a symmetrical mouse shape, then you should enjoy the shape of this mouse. The software is good, it's no nonsense, and it does the job well enough. If you're looking for something lightweight with great battery life, then definitely check this mouse out. And that's it for the video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like down below. We'd really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to Kit Guru to keep up with the latest PC gaming news and reviews. In the video's description, you'll find links to our Discord server, our website, our merch store, and our Patreon page if you want to check any of that out. Anyway, guys, I've been Matt. This has been the glorious Model O Pro Wireless Gaming Mouse. I will speak to you in the next one. Look after yourselves. See you later.